Hey everybody, welcome back to part 5 of Magicycle series, Behind the Magic. Now, in this episode, we are going to look at your Magicycle's motor, the difference between nominal and peak output, torque, and motor positioning. So, before starting the video, I would like to suggest that if you have not yet seen our previous videos behind the Magic series, please click on the I button now to learn more about your Magicycle. So guys, let's start. Before we talk about Magicycle's motor, let's talk about why the motor is an important part of your e-bike. Now, the electric motor is the legs of your electric bike. It determines your top speed, your acceleration, hill climbing ability, power consumption, and overall performance. Now, when the pedal assistant and motor is switched on, you can easily ride without generating a lot of power by yourself. Generally, all electric bikes' motor power is measured in the unit of watts. A wattage signifies how much power your motor is capable of consuming. A motor with a high wattage will be able to consume a lot more energy in a shorter amount of time. The more energy a motor consumes, the more mechanical power it will produce, and in general, a higher motor wattage rating means the motor will accelerate quickly, carry more rider weight, and climb steep hills easily. Now, let's talk about Magicycle's motor. According to the US Government of Transportation and Vehicle Law, the most powerful motor of max power for an e-bike motor in the US is 750 watts. Now, the motor for your Magicycle is also 750 watts, which makes it the most powerful motor available on the market. Okay guys, one of the best features on the Magicycle is our powerful Shengyi 750 watt brushless rear hub motor with 52 volts and 86 Newton meter torque. It also has a nominal output of 750 watts and a 1144 watt peak output. Now, according to the US e-bike regulation, the nominal power output is also 750 watts. Shengyi is a very reliable company for the best quality motors. For example, brands like Aventron and Radpower are also using the Shengyi motor. Magicycle not only abides by this perfectly, but we are also able to provide you with the most powerful motor in the e-bike market. As we mentioned earlier, Magicycle's motor is a brushless rear hub motor. Now let's look at the brushless rear motor hub. So, simply understood, brushless motor means there'll be no brushes in your motor. So compare that with a traditional brushed motor. No brushes means no friction, no overheating, so no power loss, more energy efficiency, and overall more power. More energy efficiency and lower noise levels because there are no brushes rubbing against anything. No energy is lost due to no friction, and naturally the noise levels are reduced. This means brushless motors are more energy efficient than brushed motors and can run on batteries for up to 50% longer. They have a longer lifespan, generally lasting up to about 10 years. Brushless motors have a reliable performance because of their efficiency, and they last much longer than brushed motors. That's why nowadays in the bicycle industry, brushless motors are the most common motors that you will find. Let's come to our Magicycle. Like we mentioned, you will find Magicycle's motor is brushless. This is the best quality motor on the market compared with that of brushed motors. So if we look at a brushed motor, which is sort of old technology, well, the motor inside contains brushes. Well, these brushes cause friction on the interior parts of the motor, and that's the cause behind most of the brushed motors not having such a long lifespan. So on the other hand, our Magicycle brushless motor is not going to experience any of the problems that you get with friction. And therefore, your bike motor is going to last much, much longer. Okay, now let's talk about the motor torque. So guys, torque is the twisting force produced by the motor and given in units of Newton meters. Torque is the force that rotates your electric scooter wheel and propels you forward. Now, most major e-bike manufacturers don't provide you with torque specifications for their motors, but at Magicycle, we like to be transparent with you guys. The torque of the Magicycle motor is 86 Newton meters, which is higher than any other major e-bike on the market. There are lots of brands who only have a torque of 80 Newton meters or less. Magicycle's higher torque helps with acceleration, helps with improving your bike's climbing ability, which gives you overall outstanding performance. So we mentioned about nominal watts and peak watts, but what do these really mean? Let's take a closer look. So the same limitations on peak versus continuous power for humans apply to that of electric motors. They are rated nominally for how much power they can safely output without overheating. Nominal or continuous power is how much a motor can deliver indefinitely, as long as you can provide the electricity to the motor. Now, peak output is the maximum power output you can get for a short period of time without the motor overheating. There are three parameters. One is the motor, the second is the motor controller, and the third is the battery. It is calculated from the battery voltage times the amps the controller is set to. Magicycle e-bikes come with 52 volt batteries and a 22 amp motor controller. This equals 1,100 peak watts. For those of you that might be doubtful whether you'll actually be getting 750 watt power output, I assure you it is real. Magicycle's higher motor power will guarantee you a faster speed than any other big e-bike brand on the market. We hope you guys didn't forget about the rear hub. We also mentioned that. So let's take a look at our Magicycle rear hub. Now, as the name indicates, the rear hub motor is located on the rear wheel of the Magicycle. The motor on the rear axle is located between the rear wheels. These motors are quieter than the mid-drive motors and work as soon as you start cycling, so you get started easily. Because motors are at the rear end of the bike, this side is a little bit heavier compared to that of the front and gives the motor a lot more pushing power. That helps you to move forwards. One of the biggest advantages is that it requires only a little maintenance. There are entirely independent drive systems that retain all of their components inside the motor casing, leaving nothing for you to mess with or maintain. Magicycle All-Terrain e-bike is a bike that can be cycled in all conditions. Sometimes riding uphill is inevitable, and in that situation, the rear motor is generally ideal, as the brushless motor gives you that pushing feeling. It can last well in different weather conditions, though we can't say it can be fully immersed in water. Our engineers have in the lab tested this motor in extreme weather temperatures, and the results show our motor is really robust and able to survive in the extreme cold and extreme heat. So what about all the maintenance? So the brushless motor is able to avoid being damaged in any sort of normal riding circumstances. However, you should always remember to keep your motor clean and well maintained. For example, usually we recommend you check if any screws on the motor have come loose. If the screws are loose, you should get them tightened back up immediately. Also, I want to point out a few other maintenance tips, such as the motor can't be overloaded. This means that the motor shouldn't be excessively or running non-stop in immense power usage situations, as this will affect the motor's performance and even durability of the different motor components. We recommend you allow the motor time to rest for a little while occasionally. Even though our motor is water resistant, we also suggest to avoid riding on a heavy rainy day. As you might know, a motor should not be immersed in water. If this happens, it may affect your power output and the motor and its overall lifespan. But do remember, our motors are water resistant. Normally, it is completely okay to hear a little bit of noise when your motor is running. However, if you hear loud, kind of varied noises, inconsistent noises coming from your motor, immediately switch off your power and bring your e-bike back into repair. If you are to find any problem, please feel free to contact us by leaving an email at support@magicycle.com. Now, in the future, we plan to create a motor repair tutorial for you, so you can always come back to our video and either repair it yourself or disassemble the motor and post it to our after-sales office for repair. As usual, you can ensure that our proactive Magicycle team will provide you with the most attentive and effective after-sales service. Okay guys, that's it for today, the introduction about Magicycle motor. If you have any questions, feel free to drop a comment below or via our website. Stay tuned for our next episode where we will talk about one of the most important components of your e-bike, the brakes. Now, if you have enjoyed this video, please remember to like, comment and subscribe so you don't miss any of our amazing content. Thanks for watching guys, and remember, ride free and ride fun.